Okay, hopefully I'm in the right live. Let's see. The dogs are wrestling. They're really, I don't know, really playful tonight. So I was saying in the Zoom, because I just got home, okay? Those of you that know about the cake went very well. My aunt loved it. She kept saying she hasn't had a birthday cake in 10 years. In 10 years, same time, same place next year. Yes. She took the entire cake, and my aunt usually, is committed to eating, so healthy. So she really loved it. Had a great time. My cousin's daughter and her boyfriend, and then my cousin and Jimmy and I and the kids went to the Wayne County Fair. After that, we just got home an hour ago. So we were out all day, and we're going out again tomorrow. My aunt stayed up another day, which is rare for her at this time, but so we're going to be spending the day with her tomorrow. So when I got up this morning, in my feed was someone that I sporadically listen to, more so in the past, because I really don't go to Dollar Tree much anymore. But she's most well known for Dollar Tree hauls, and she lives in Indiana. And I don't know, maybe some of you have heard of her. Her name is, I just want to make sure I get her last name because I always want to say it the wrong way. It's Jennifer Moan 5. And she normally just does Dollar Tree hauls. Sometimes she does a DIY, but mostly Dollar Tree hauls. She's been doing them for years. And she used to have a couple of small dogs. I thought one was a Boston Terrier and one was a French Bulldog. But I think she's down to the one French Bulldog. Anyway, I came across a video of hers in my feed with her face looking absolutely horrendous. She had black eyes. She had a gash all across her forehead. She looked horrible. And it said an update on where I've been. And so I played it and I was like, oh my gosh, you saw that? Oh, the first time I heard it, I'm like a squeamish, I was throwing up, seriously. And then I was telling Jimmy about it and he kept saying, well, how did it happen again? How did it happen again? And so we listened to it again. Okay, this is the most freak thing. If I asked you right now, and those of you that no, don't say it, okay? If I asked you about a household accident, right? You would probably guess, oh, she was stepping on a step stool and fell down. She fell down the stairs. She got burdened with a hairdryer. So you'd probably pick out a million things, but you would never pick out what it was. Okay, so she was on her bed. She was organizing her beads, her craft beads. So she had a bunch of plastic organizers and her beads. And she said she has to go a lot by her family because she doesn't remember a lot. But she was on her bed. And she was in her room for hours is all she remembers. She was organizing things and she was there organizing the stuff for hours. And her French Bulldog can't get up on the bed by itself. I think this is the one. It might even have had cancer and might have its leg amputated. I'm not sure, but so this dog, she has to pick it up and put it on the bed, and she picked the dog up and put the dog on the bed with her, and she continued organizing her beads, and she got hot, so she turned on the ceiling fan. Now she has a ceiling fan over her bed, and it's like a 5-blade ceiling fan. And it has a globe kind of, like a very thick, heavy glass fixture. So she put the ceiling fan on and she continued. And then the dog started to get antsy. And she didn't know whether the dog was just cold or just wanted to get down. But for whatever reason, and I can't really understand this part of it, because I'm wondering if she's not remembering something right. She says she jumped up, like as if to get the dog. But you would think that if you were just going to get your dog, if the dog started to, you thought the dog was going to jump up, you wouldn't stand up on the bed, right? You would just kind of sit up further and just grab the dog and then get off the bed. But for some reason, she, that's why I was on your feed. She says, but see, she doesn't have a memory. So I'm really wondering if this happened, because it just seems incredible. Because you would, if I said to you, you have a small dog on your bed, you're sitting on your bed organizing beads, your dog starts to stir, you're afraid your dog is going to jump down or something, and you have to get your dog, what are you going to do? I don't think anybody is going to say you're going to get on your feet on the bed. Would you say that? I don't think so. So I think she was doing something else. I'm thinking maybe something was going on with the fan. I don't know, because it's just, I can't picture if you're going to get your dog that you would get on your feet on your bed. It doesn't seem right. But anyway, what she did was she jumped up, not realizing about the ceiling fan being on, and the blade, I guess she got her head, and the blade like whacked her head into the big glass globe, and then it ricocheted off there, and it pushed her to the ground. And she said when she was going to hit the ground, like, I don't know, she hit the edge of the bed, she had her hands covering her face like this. And when she got up, okay, her husband was taking a shower. When she got up, she went like this to her husband, and this whole flap of skin on her scalp was hanging off. And blood was pouring out of her head. And her husband tried to put a towel on it, and she said, somebody's got to call 911. So, look, I don't know how she didn't say, she doesn't really remember this, okay? She doesn't. So she's living through everybody else's scenario. So that's probably why she doesn't say, I'm passing out. She does say that she told them, I'm going to die. I'm dying. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it, is what she says. So they lay her down. Because she says inside her mouth, she feels her mouth pooling up with blood. She feels like she's suffocating from the blood. So the son comes in. She has adult children, right? The son comes in, and the father says, here, hold this towel on your mother. He has her laying down on her side. Put pressure on it. I've got to get dressed to go to the hospital, right? They called 911, and 911 came over expecting like somebody that fell and bumped their head. They weren't ready for this, so they ended up having to call the fire rescue. And when they got there, she lost consciousness. So her husband was just ready to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. They grabbed a tarp. This is crazy. She said they threw her in a tarp, carried her downstairs, and threw her in the back. I'm sure they didn't throw her, but that is what she said, into the back of the ambulance and rushed her to the trauma center. Then they get her in the trauma center. She said she has no recollection of any of that, okay, until she is in the trauma center, she said, and there's a doctor, and he's like massaging her sternum, trying to get her to come to. And she said that when she came to, she was like in a state, okay, and she couldn't say much. And then she heard them say suction her out because she had so much blood still all in her mouth and she couldn't even like breathe well. And she said she heard the doctor say, we have to tube her. And the next thing she said, they put a big thick mask on her face, and that was it. And then she said it was horrible. Like, she thinks it was just a mask, but it was the tube. And she said, and then the tube was doing the breathing for her. It was pushing her chest out, and it was making her really anxious, and she was freaking out. So she was flailing her arms and legs, and then she felt a sharp pain in her arm, and that was it. And then 5 hours later, she woke up, but she had been put in a medically induced coma for 5 hours. Her husband and son were not even told about her condition for those 5 hours. They were seated in some room. She said a chaplain was brought in, and it was, a room with like nice furniture and low lighting and this and that, but they weren't told anything about her condition. And then after they came in and they told them that we had to put her in a medically induced coma. And she woke up, she said, and this is so scary. And her eyes were the only thing that she could move. She couldn't move anything else. She couldn't talk. She had the tube in her down her throat. She said she was trying to bite the tube. She couldn't move her legs. She couldn't move her arms, and they were all restrained. So saw a nurse sitting down next to her, but she couldn't get her attention. So then she started to have like a panic attack, and her alarm started to go off. And then she said everybody came rushing in, and they said, okay, we're going to take your tube out. 1, 2, 3, want you to cough. She said it happened so fast, but then she took the deepest breath. Her throat hurt like crazy. She had a shower cap on her head because there was so much blood in her hair. She said it took days to get the blood out of her ears that I guess went down into her ears and stuff. She has like a huge stitch thing that goes down, like she can't see out of one eye. She says she sees like when you come in from the sun, and that's how you see, that's how that one eye sees. The other eye she can see out of. She's all bruised like crazy. The swelling, she said, has gone down. But who would think of anything like that? And I guess till the the glass fixture too is gone. So that when she hit it or whatever, she doesn't really explain that, but it's gone. So it must have fallen too. And just crazy total freak accident. Like, who the hell would think that? And she almost died. So yeah, she says she has memory problems now. She couldn't remember like some words or whatever. But wow, that's crazy. She hopes she doesn't need plastic surgery. You're always scared ceiling fans are going to fall or come down from the ceiling. That's horrible. I miss been Jennifer Moran, 5. She does a lot of Dollar Tree hauls. That's really basically what her channel is, Dollar Tree hauls. She's been around for a long time. Wow. It's crazy. Wonder what kind of blades they had. They were wood blades. Just wood. She shows the ceiling fan, Kevin. They were just wood blades. No, there was no caning or anything. Just a solid wood blade. It was really horrific. But who would have thought that? No, not Lone. with an M. Mowran. I like her Dollar Tree hauls. Yeah. So this, it's crazy. Mowran. It's Mowran. Mowan 5. But horrible. I mean, just such a freak accident. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't even understand how. Oh my gosh. But I just don't understand. I'm trying to understand how she would jump up, because she would have to jump up on her feet to get to the ceiling. I don't know. Okay, Rox. So yeah, that's horrendous stuff. So next, okay, let's see. We're going to go back onto the, you would never think of ceiling fan. You'd probably pick like 19,000 things before you would say a ceiling fan. Okay, so let's look at Alexee Trevizo, because she is now suing the hospital. She's the teenager shown there from New Mexico, and she has filed a lawsuit against an Eddy County hospital and several members of its medical staff. It's filed in San Miguel County by her attorney, Arthur Bustos, and it states that the plaintiff is suing Artemis General Hospital along with an unnamed doctor and John and Jane Doe, A through F, identified only as medical staff working at the hospital. She gave birth on January 27th at the hospital. She arrived at the hospital with severe back pain and said she felt like she needed to have a bowel movement. She then locked herself into a bathroom where she stayed for about 20 minutes. She allegedly did not open the door until the staff threatened to open it themselves. And when nurses went into the bathroom, they saw a pile of blood. And when the housekeeping went in there, she grabbed the wastebasket and thought it was heavy, and there was a newborn boy inside the trash can. She found him, and he was... She looked through the trash can and found a tied-up trash bag underneath the other trash bag. So the lawsuit indicates that Trevizo arrived at 12:38 a.m. and was given a cocktail of drugs. So we're going to look at the actual lawsuit here. So let's pull that up. Okay, I'm just pulling up the paperwork. Pulling up the paperwork. Okay, so let's pull this page over first. So, State of New Mexico, County of San Miguel, 4th Judicial District Court, Arthur Bustos, that's her attorney, as wrongful death personal representative of the estate of Alex Ray Fierro, deceased. Versus the Artesia Special Hospital District doing business as Artesia General Hospital, Heather Marshall Vasquez, MD, John and Jane Doe's A through F, and John Doe Companies G through K. First Amendment complaint for wrongful death and punitive damages comes now plaintiff Arthur Bustos as wrongful death personal representative of the estate of Alex Ray Fierro, deceased, by and through his undersigned counsel of record, and states the following as his First Amendment complaint, amended complaint for wrongful death and punitive damages against the Artesia Special Hospital District doing business as Artesia General Hospital. Okay, and then again, the doctor, Jane Doe's, hereinafter referred to by such designations as collectively as defendants. Plaintiff Arthur Bustos is a citizen of the state of New Mexico and is a resident of San Miguel County, New Mexico. Hold on a minute. Our next page. Okay, 2. Arthur Bustos has previously been appointed as the wrongful death representative of the estate of Alex Ray Fierro, hereinafter sometimes referred to as decedent or Alex. Pursuant to the New Mexico Wrongful Death Act, NMSA 1978, blah, 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 in cause, blah, blah, blah. 4th District, Judicial District, San Miguel County, New Mexico. 3. Defendant Artesia Special Hospital District doing business as Artesia General Hospital is authorized to do business in the state of New Mexico and is doing business in the state of New Mexico. 4. Upon information and belief, Artesia Special Hospital District was doing business as Artesia General Hospital, Eddy County, New Mexico, at all material times hereto. 5. Defendant doctor, upon information and belief, is a medical doctor doing business in the state of New Mexico at all material times hereto. 6. The hospital and the doctor acted by and through their agents, partners, officers, and employees, and are responsible for their acts or omissions through the doctrines of respondeat superior or agency. 7. John and Jane Doe's A through F, inclusive, are unknown persons who may have treated, cared for, participated in decisions, or otherwise have contributed to the death of the decedent, or otherwise violated the rights of the decedent, and as discovery proceeds, if the names of such individuals are determined, they will be substituted for the John and Jane Doe designations. 8. John Doe Companies G through K, inclusive, are companies, partnerships, corporations, limited liability companies, or any other entity, public or private, that may have contributed to the death of decedent, may have employed persons that contributed to the death of decedent or otherwise violated the rights of the decedent, and as discovery proceeds, if the, hang on one second. Names of such companies are determined, they will be substituted for the John Doe Company designations. 2. Jurisdiction, venue, and joinder jurisdiction over the parties and the subject matter herein is proper within the court pursuant to Article 6 of the New Mexico Constitution. Venue is proper in this court because the plaintiff, Arthur Bustos, resides in San Miguel County, state of New Mexico. Factual background. 11. On January 26, 2023, Alexee J. Trevizo, hereinafter Alexee, the surviving mother of the decedent, attended Artesia High School as a student, was on the cheer squad, and attended Artesia High School cheer practice on January 26, 2023. On January 26, 2023, at approximately 11:47 p.m., Alexee was taken to the AGH emergency department complaining of low back pain and abdominal pain. On a pain level of 1 to 10, with 10 being the greatest, Alexee stated that she was a 10. Alexee is a female of childbearing age. Alexee had regular menses, had used birth control pills and condoms, worked out a minimum of 2 hours, 5 days a week, and had worked out on January 26, 2023 for over 3 hours with the cheer team. Hang on. On January 27, 2023, at approximately 12:05 a.m., Alexee was seen in the emergency department at AGH, at which time the attending physician was Heather Marshall Vasquez, MD. Upon examination, Alexee complained of low back pain and told the doctor that it had begun, I think she means that it had, not she had. It had begun, no, I'm sorry, that she had been at cheerleading practice, maybe I just can't read tonight, and felt like she needed to have a bowel movement but was unable to do so, and further indicated that she was experiencing abdominal pain. Alexee denied pregnancy and informed the doctor that she was on her period. Alexee was asked if she had undergone a pelvic exam before, and she told the staff of AGH that she had not. On January 27, 2023, at 12:18 a.m., medication was given to Alexee consisting of cyclobenzaprine and acetaminophen. On January 27, 2023, at 12:28 a.m., medication was given to Alexee consisting of sodium chloride, ketorolac, ondansetron, and morphine sulfate. A saline lock and urinalysis were completed, but no specimen was received of HCG qual serum. A qualitative HCG blood test checks if there is a hormone called human chorionic gonadotropin in a person's blood, which is produced by the body during pregnancy. On January 27, 2023, at 12:28 a.m., lab tests were ordered, and such orders were entered at 12:30 a.m. On January 27, 2023, at 12:28 a.m., a pregnancy serum test was ordered and collected at 12:30 a.m., received at 12:31 a.m., and reported at 12:51 a.m. by a call-out notice. Notice of results sent via computer to Chris Sanchez, RN, at the AGH, and the doctor showing positive for pregnancy. Hang on. The doctor and nurse admit that at 12:51 a.m. they received on their computers the notice of the results of the blood test showing that Alexee was pregnant. The medications, which were being given via an IV of cyclobenzaprine, acetaminophen, sodium chloride, ketorolac, ondansetron, and morphine sulfate, and despite ACH, the doctor and nurses knowing at 12:51 Alexee was pregnant, was continued after they had notice of the pregnancy. The medication, including morphine, was not stopped after the defendants knew at 12:51 hours that Alexee was pregnant. Ketorolac, ondansetron, cyclobenzaprine, and morphine all have warnings regarding use if the patient is pregnant. On January 27, 2023, Alexee said she needed to use the bathroom. A nurse removed the IV at 1:39 hours, and Alexee ran down the hall from her room. Now, see, I wonder why they would remove the IV. They wouldn't just give her a pole that she could bring to the bathroom. Why? Because they would have to restart it, or they were done with the medication. That's weird. And Alexee ran down the hall from her room to the public bathroom in the emergency department. The doctor and other healthcare providers knew or should have known for 48 minutes that Alexee was pregnant. On January 27th, 2023, at 1:40 a.m., Alexee's mother checked on her as she had not come out of the bathroom. You know, it says she only went in the bathroom at 1:39. Isn't that weird? So at 1:40, 1 minute, her mother checked on her as she had not come out of the bathroom. It checked on her again at 1:49 a.m. At 1:56 a.m., the emergency department at ACH checked on Alexee, and one of the nurses got the key to unlock the bathroom door, but before the door was unlocked, Alexee exited the bathroom. It's pretty amazing that in literally 16 minutes she delivers a baby, and besides the blood, gets rid of all of that evidence. Kind of crazy. And delivers that baby by herself. At 1:57 a.m., Alexee exits the bathroom. No one assisted her as she walked back to the room she had been in. Alexee gave birth unassisted to a son while in the bathroom. Like, at that point, why not just say it? And I mean, it's just so crazy. On January 27, 2023, at 2:02, the doctor had already ordered an ultrasound to determine the status of the baby. The same was ordered before the doctors and nurses learned that Alexee had given birth. At 2:38 a.m., the infant, Alexee Trevizo, decedent, was pronounced dead by the defendant doctor. So, 2:38 a.m. The hospital allowed the police into the room of Alexee with lapel cameras on and asked questions of Alexee and her mother that are protected by HIPAA laws and by the New Mexico Constitution laws, rules, statutes, and regulations. Medical records, lab results, and videos of Alexee, her treatment and lack thereof, at or by defendants without consent of Alexee, was released to the Artesia Police Department and later to the public. Subsequently, the videos without consent of Alexee, her attorneys, and or a court were disclosed to the media, District Attorney, Artesia Police Department, and have appeared on Facebook and other social media from numerous persons in the community, along with 3 major television networks, and have shown such confidential and private information that did not come from Alexee or her attorneys and did not come with consent from Alexee or her attorneys. The hospital violated the HIPAA laws by allowing the taking of such videos and the release of protected health information. The hospital doctor and employees allowed the release of protected medical records and information, including reports and videos taken at the hospital. Hang on. Where did my little thing go? I lost my little page. Hang on. All right, here we go. All right. The hospital employees and doctors were aware of the pregnancy at 12:51 a.m. and they failed to inform Alexee that she was pregnant and failed to take the necessary healthcare procedures and protocols for a pregnant woman who was at a term pregnancy. The decedent died from the malpractice of defendants. Alexee was 19 years old at the time and 5 foot in height with a weight of 126 pounds. Claims for relief, count 1 against defendant hospital. All previous paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference. Upon information and belief, Artesia Special Hospital District, doing business as Artesia General Hospital, AGH, is a body, corporate, and politic organized under the laws of the state of New Mexico as a special hospital district, and is a party for purposes of these claims and is responsible for the actions and omissions of its employees, agents, and contractors. Upon information and belief, AGH is a local public body and governmental entity as those terms are defined in the New Mexico Tort Claims Act, 1978. As such, AGH may sue or be sued in its name. AGH at all material times acted through its agents, servants, and employees, and in furtherance of business of AGH for which it is liable under the New Mexico Tort Claims Act. At all material times, the agents, servants, and employees were acting within their scope of duties for AGH. Okay, we've got this now. The Artesia Special Hospital District was created by the legislature of the state of New Mexico. Immunity is waived against the hospital and doctor under the New Mexico Tort Claims Act. Defendant hospital, through administration policies and procedures, was negligent in failing to exercise ordinary care, treatment, and diagnosis of Alexee Trevizo, thereby leading to the death of Alex Ray Fierro. Defendant hospital breached its duties by A. Failure to perform timely, complete, and accurate assessment of Alexee. Failure to follow guidelines and practices that a woman of childbearing age complaining of low back pain and or abdominal pain is presumed pregnant until proven otherwise. Failure to follow guidelines and practices that a woman of childbearing age who indicates she has to go to the bathroom should be examined first to make sure she is not pregnant and giving birth. Failure to follow guidelines and practices that a woman known by the hospital, doctor, and caregivers to be pregnant based on hospital and doctor tests should be examined before going to the bathroom, especially after muscle relaxants and morphine have been given via an IV to make sure she is not giving birth as opposed to having to relieve herself. Failure to document accurate, factual, and complete information in the patient's permanent medical file regarding nursing care rendered. Failure to develop and implement an appropriate nursing plan of care for a 19-year-old female patient in the emergency department complaining of low back pain, abdominal pain, and the necessity of going to the bathroom. Failure to provide standard nursing interventions to prevent the administration of medication or contraindicated medication to be administered to patients prior to an appropriate differential diagnosis. Failure to develop and implement an appropriate nursing plan of care for a person reporting with symptoms of Alexee. Failure to have at the top of the list the possibility of pregnancy. Failure to provide standard nursing interventions to prevent administration of medication or contraindicated medication to a patient who is pregnant. Failure to hire medical providers who are qualified and adequately trained regarding diagnosis of pregnancy. failure to hire medical providers who are qualified and adequately trained regarding the necessity for performance of pelvic exams and delivering babies, failure to have available necessary equipment to properly evaluate a woman of childbearing years to determine pregnancy and whether birth is imminent, failure to implement and operate a medical record system to communicate patient status to the attending physician in a timely and proper manner, failure to implement and operate a system in which the existence of a pregnancy is immediately provided to the attending physician. Okay. Failure to implement and operate a system in which the attending physician and nurses communicate timely and in proper manner with the patient. Failure to ensure that nursing and medical staff timely and properly identify a pregnancy. Failure to implement a system that prevents violation of the HIPAA laws. Failure to implement and operate a system that assures privacy of its patients. Failures to implement and operate a system that requires written consent prior to sharing a patient's healthcare information. Failure to implement and operate a system that prevents the release of HIPAA-protected information outside of the hospital and those directly providing care to the patient. Failure to have and supply necessary machinery and equipment to test for pregnancy, especially including component parts for the ultrasound testing and by other means that will be ascertained through discovery during this litigation. The treatment, care, and management of Alexee by the hospital during the events described in this complaint were reckless, wanton, and performed with utter disregard for the safety and welfare of Alexee Fierro. Alexee Fierro's death was a direct and proximate result of the negligent acts and omissions of defendant hospital, doctor, and healthcare providers of defendant hospital. As further direct and proximate result of the acts and omissions of the defendant hospital, plaintiff is entitled to wrongful death damages as provided by the laws of the state of New Mexico. The death of Alexee Fierro was due to negligence of defendant hospital, doctor, and healthcare providers without any contributing negligence on the part of Alexee Fierro. Count 2. Negligent hiring, credentialing, training, and supervision against defendant hospital. All previous paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference. The doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee were acting at all relevant times as employees, agents, apparent agents, ostensible agents, and or contractors over which the defendant hospital had sufficient control. Defendant hospital knew or should have known that hiring and or credentialing the doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee would create an unreasonable risk of injury to a group or class that includes the decedent. Defendant hospital failed to use ordinary care in hiring and or credentialing the doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee. The defendant hospital is responsible for ensuring its healthcare providers are properly educated and trained so the patients do not suffer and a baby is not born in a manner recited herein. The defendant hospital should have had training programs, written policies, and procedures in place to ensure patients such as Alexee were provided with timely and proper medical care. Defendant hospital, through its agents and employees, were required to use ordinary standard of care a reasonable, prudent hospital would use in hiring, training, supervising, and granting privileges to the doctor as a professional healthcare provider. The defendant hospital, through its agents and employees, willfully, recklessly, or negligently provided Alexee inadequate medical services and violated the rules of standard of care through one or more acts or omissions, including the following: choosing to allow unqualified and inappropriately trained healthcare professionals to practice in its facilities, choosing not to provide or require adequate training of agents and/or employees regarding pregnancy, choosing not to establish or enforce adequate written procedures and guidelines for timely and proper recognition of pregnancy, choosing not to establish or enforce adequate written procedures and guidelines for timely and proper communication between the laboratory and the doctors and nurses, choosing not to establish or enforce adequate written procedures and guidelines for communication between the doctor and nurses with the patient in a timely and proper manner, choosing not to have adequate written procedures and guidelines for recognition of pregnancy and timely and proper delivery of a baby, choosing not to establish and enforce adequate written procedures regarding HIPAA violations. Okay, choosing not to establish and enforce adequate written procedures for privacy violations, choosing not to have adequate written procedures and guidelines regarding privacy and protection of HIPAA information, choosing not to have adequate skilled staff and equipment to provide competent care for its patients, choosing not to adequately supervise employees and agents practicing or working at the hospital, choosing not to hire, credential, or grant privileges only to well-qualified physicians in the emergency department, choosing not to provide or require adequate training regarding thorough and accurate note-taking, dictation, and making the medical record, choosing not to provide or require adequate training regarding communication between nursing staff, laboratory staff, and doctors, choosing not to establish or enforce policies and procedures regarding obtaining testing immediately and prior to the administration of medications, choosing not to establish or enforce policies and procedures regarding following the professional warnings for administration of dosage and types of medications to the patient, and by other means ascertained through discovery during this litigation. Defendant hospital further failed to use ordinary care in training and supervising the doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee. If the doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee had been properly trained and supervised, they would not, among other things, negligently fail to provide adequate nursing interventions to prevent the death of Alexee Fierro, negligently fail to provide adequate nursing interventions to prevent the death of Alexee Fierro, negligently fail to provide adequate medical services to prevent medication, over-medication, or contraindicated medication for a pregnant female, failure to adequately and timely require testing of a female patient 19 years of age reporting with lower back pain, abdominal pain, and feeling like she needed to go to the bathroom. Failure to provide adequate doctors and nursing staff with the ability and training to recognize pregnancy, perform objective testing for pregnancy, and obtain immediate testing for pregnancy, and failure to timely and properly diagnose pregnancy. Failure to timely and appropriately communicate between the laboratory, nurses, staff, and the attending doctor the results of the pregnancy test in a manner intended to immediately notify such persons. Failure to provide adequate medical intervention to ensure timely and proper pain assessment, mental status assessment, objective hands-on examinations, and communication of same, including adequate documentation and in other matters which will be known through discovery. So what they're saying in here now is that they're putting this on the medical staff. They should have known that someone presenting like this should be presumed pregnant unless they're proven not to be. Then they had the tests and they still didn't see that and do a pelvic exam prior to letting her go to the bathroom. Plus, they were administering medications that were contraindicated for pregnancy. This is essentially what this is saying. Defendant's hospital negligence in hiring, credentialing, training, and supervising doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee was a direct, proximate cause of Alex Ray Fierro's ultimate death. The actions, failures, and omissions were reckless, wanton, and with utter disregard for the welfare and safety of Alex Ray Fierro. Count 3, negligence through respondent superior, vicarious liability against defendant hospital. All previous paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference. At all times relevant herein, the doctors, nurses, and staff of defendant hospital were acting within the course and scope of their employment with defendant. When, through the acts and omissions outlined in the preceding paragraphs, they failed to use ordinary care in providing treatment that a reasonable and prudent healthcare provider would have provided under the same or similar circumstances. At all relevant times herein, the doctors, nurses, and staff were acting within the course and scope of their employment with defendant hospital when, through the acts and omissions outlined in the preceding paragraphs, they failed to meet the standard of care that a reasonable and prudent healthcare provider would have provided under the same or similar circumstances. At all relevant times herein, the doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee were under the control of defendant hospital. Therefore, the hospital is liable pursuant to the doctrines of respondeat superior and vicarious liability. The management or lack of management of Alexee's medical condition was reckless, wanton, and performed with utter disregard for Alexee's safety and welfare and for the safety and welfare of Alex Ray Fierro. As a direct and proximate result of the negligent acts and omissions of defendant hospital through the doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee, over whom defendant hospital had sufficient control, Alex Ray Fierro died. As a further direct and proximate result of the negligent acts and omissions of defendant hospital through the doctors, nurses, and staff who cared for Alexee, over whom defendant hospital had sufficient control, Alex Ray Fierro is entitled to statutory wrongful death damages. The death of Alex Ray Fierro was due to negligence of defendant hospital without any contributing negligence on the part of Alex Ray Fierro. John Doe's A through F and John Doe Company's G through K are or may be included in the performance actions, omissions, and failures set forth above. All previous paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference. Count 4 against the doctor. Defendant Vasquez intentionally, willfully, recklessly, and negligently provided inadequate medical services, resulting in the death of Alex Ray Fierro in violation of the standard of care for a hospitalist in New Mexico by committing one or more of the following acts and omissions: choosing not to be in the proper physical, mental, and emotional condition to perform medical services. B, choosing not to have adequate training and knowledge of the medications and treatments to be utilized to timely and properly treat Alexee. Nonetheless, she attempted to perform them anyway. Choosing not to explain to Alexee her true condition, and as Alexee continued to exhibit symptoms of pregnancy, deliberately, intentionally, willfully, wantonly, recklessly, and with utter disregard did not explain the truth to Alexee in a timely manner. Choosing not to explain the true nature of Alexee's condition to Alexee so that she could make an informed decision about her future care. Choosing not to timely, properly, and immediately become aware of testing results communicated by the laboratory, providing services to Alexee without the requisite training, skill, knowledge, experience, and expertise, improperly diagnosing and treating Alexee with medications prior to approximate, timely, and proper testing and screening, improperly treating Alexee with incorrect medications at inappropriate intervals, and administration of contraindicated medications, and failing to monitor, assess, and stay advised of Alexee's true condition. Inability to diagnose or choosing to ignore the differential diagnosis of pregnancy. Choosing not to have immediate testing performed to determine the true reason for Alexee's condition. Choosing not to make sure the nurses performed assessments at appropriate intervals. Choosing to allow HIPAA violations regarding the medical condition of Alexee and decedent. Choosing to fail to provide Alexee with her privacy rights, and choosing to blame the death of Alexee Fierro upon others rather than taking responsibility for her failures and omissions. The intentional, willful, reckless, and negligent acts and/or admissions of Dr. Vargas were a direct and proximate cause of the death of Alexee Fierro. 5. Damages against defendants. All previous paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference as a direct and proximate result of the acts and omissions of the defendants described above. Alexee Fierro died. As such, plaintiff seeks damages, including the wrongful death damages provided under statutory law in the state of New Mexico, prejudgment interest, post-judgment interest, and plaintiff's cost of suit as allowed by law, and such other and further relief as this court deems just and proper in the premises. Count 5, punitive damages against defendants. All previous paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference. Defendants' acts and omissions complained of in the preceding paragraphs are believed to be of an egregious nature, in reckless, wanton, and total disregard to the rights and safety of Alexee Fierro. Among others, these intentional, malicious, willful, reckless, and/or wanton acts and omissions of the defendants, either singularly, in combination, or based on the cumulative conduct of employees of defendants, were a cause of Alexee Fierro's death. Cumulative, I can't even read tonight. On the cumulative conduct of employees of defendants were a cause of Alexee Fierro's death. Okay. I don't have my glasses on. That would probably be good. As such, in addition to actual damages ascertained and demonstrated in this matter, punitive damages are required to punish and deter these types of acts and omissions in the future. Punitive damages should be assessed jointly and severally. Wherefore, the plaintiff prays for judgment against defendants jointly and severally for wrongful death damages sufficient to fully compensate plaintiff for the injuries and damages described herein, for survivorship claims, for loss of consortium claims, for intentional infliction of emotional distress, post-judgment interest, pre-judgment interest, plaintiff's cost of suit as allowed by law, and for punitive damages, and for such other relief to which plaintiff may be entitled in the premises. Respectfully submitted, Gary C. Mitchell, PC, Damon, blah, 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 attorneys for the plaintiff. Okay, so that's the suit there. So again, what they're saying is that the medical staff is to blame for this. How do you feel about that? Does that change? anything for you? Let me see. I'm going to go back to the chat. Hang on. Hold on. Coming back to the chat. Sorry, it's taking forever for me to get back to the chat here. Oh, I asked to get back to the chat and I don't know what happened. The chat just closed up. The whole YouTube shebang. Hold on. Let me get back. Let me open up another window. Making my way back. Making my way back. Okay, so what do you guys think of that? Hang on. Let's see what you've said. Does anybody feel differently? Let's see. I don't know what to think. Seems like if you start to deliver in bathroom, you would have called for help, Kevin said. White Angel says, wait a minute. Did they ask her if she was pregnant? Yeah, they did ask her. She said she was having her period. Prior to administration, I'm pretty sure that they would have asked her. They did ask her. She didn't answer. Supposedly, she's going to say she had no idea she was pregnant. Let's see. Even going public is strategy. The hospital has tons of liability to consider, including public image. This will probably be a case of how much to make this go away. Hi, Annie B. Thank you for your donation before I saw that when I was out. Thank you. She told them that she wasn't pregnant. Right. She was on her period. Right. It's bullcrap, Sassy Darcy says. Teresa says 19. If you know how to have sex, you know how you can get pregnant. She's a liar. Kevin says, seems like you would call for help. Okay. But what do you think regarding with all this? Do you think that any charges against her will be dismissed and that, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so let me go to the next thing, which is going to be, there is some breaking news that just came in. The suspect in Nevada teenager Naomi Arion's murder was found dead in cell. That's just come in. Remember Natalie? Remember she was the one that was kidnapped from a Walmart parking lot? Remember that when she was underway? So the man charged with the kidnapping and murder of Naomi last year was found dead in his cell earlier this week and a suspect of self-harm. Arion was kidnapped from a Walmart parking lot. in Fernley in the early morning hours of March 12th of 2022. She was waiting to take the bus to her job at an electronics factory. Surveillance video showed a man get into the driver's seat of her car and drive away with her in the passenger seat. Arian's car was found in an industrial park. 3 days later, her body was found in a shallow grave, March 30th, in a remote area of Churchill County. Troy Driver, 42, was arrested a few days before the body was found, and he pled not guilty to charges of murder, kidnapping, and SA. Deputies say they found Driver unresponsive in his cell during a routine hourly check. After 6 p.m. on Sunday, deputies began CPR, called for an ambulance, and medical personnel took over from the deputies when they arrived. Their efforts to revive him were unsuccessful, and he was pronounced dead. Preliminary reports say that he died from asphyxiation. And Natalie's brother said he feels like self-harm is an admission of guilt, her stepbrother, but I wish the justice system had the chance to give a verdict. Driver was housed in a maximum security cell with no contact with other inmates. The sheriff's office requested a full investigation from the Nevada State Police. Okay, 1 second here. Okay. Okay, now, where is... Okay, so one other thing about Alexee. Who we're just reading about. So there's something else that has come out. A toxicology report on a deceased newborn allegedly hidden in a hospital bathroom by the teen mother, Alexee Trevizo, reportedly revealed traces of weight loss drug in the infant's system. The toxicology report said that it had phentermine in, that the mother had phentermine in her system when she gave birth. Court documents indicate that nurses at the hospital ran tests on Trevizo after her arrival, which showed she was pregnant. Before they could tell her, she went to the bathroom, where she stayed for about 20 minutes. We know that already. An autopsy report stated the baby had a hemorrhage that was consistent with hypoxia. Prosecutors in Eddy County have now charged Trevizo with first-degree murder in connection with the death of her infant son. Meanwhile, her lawyer, Gary Mitchell, said that Trevizo's name has been smeared with lies. The fact is, she did not kill her baby. The testing that was done to determine that she did is so antiquated that it's medieval. Prosecutors allege that Trevizo strangled the newborn, while Trevizo reportedly said the baby was not breathing or crying at the time of birth and she didn't know what to do. There was no strangulation. This is not a murder case, her attorney argued, adding that nurses had given her morphine and a cocktail of drugs that should never have been given to someone in labor. This certainly was primary cause of death of the baby. Guess what does cause major breathing issues in fetuses? Morphine. A toxicology report indicated the baby had 0.19 nanograms of morphine in his system, along with COVID-19 and influenza. The lawyer reiterated that Trevizo had no idea she was pregnant until she gave birth, despite the prosecution's argument that she indeed knew she was pregnant and took measures to end the newborn's life. Okay, and medical malpractice lawyer Jerry Dugan said that the defense's approach to this incident is desperate and dangerous. This was 19/100ths of 1/1000th of a gram of morphine in the infant system. It is absolutely not a deviation from the standard of care in the emergency room to administer morphine to someone who was known to be pregnant. I think jury nullification here could very well result in the jury when they see this photograph of the cheerleading defendant. And then to suggest, well, that's innocent enough because my boyfriend and I go to McDonald's every day. I can't conceive of a jury that in the country saying, oh, that's a reasonable defense. The hospital killed this baby. I just think this defense is going nowhere. Trevizo's trial has been set for February 2024. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the chat. Okay. And we're going to talk about Kohberger next. He wants a DNA expert of his own. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got also an update from Lindsay Shiver. And so let's do Kohberger. Let's get Kohberger out of the way. So lawyers for Bryan Kohberger want their own DNA expert to examine the prosecution's use of forensic genetic genealogy to identify their client as the murderer of 4 University of Idaho students last November. In an affidavit filed in support of the defense motion, it detailed access on the prosecution's use of DNA evidence. Dr. Leah Larkin highlights the differences between DNA profiles from consumer tests like 23andMe and specialized lab tests. Using a DNA sample found on the snap of a knife sheath left at the scene of the crime, prosecutors have said they obtained a link to Kohberger's DNA through his family's DNA profile, but his defense questions the method's validity and constitutionality. Larkin said that the consumer sites could bring about phantom matches results and that science behind the results are not always accurate. A poor quality kit may have too few matches, or it may have phantom matches that are not real measures of relationship. The court document read, in the absence of effective oversight, forensic genetic genealogists are on an honor system to obey the terms of services and the Department of Justice interim policy on forensic genetic genealogy. Any given centimorgan amount can represent more than one possible relationship. After narrowing down the suspect list with genealogical DNA, prosecutors say a DNA sample from Kohberger himself, taken after his arrest, matched the knife sheath sample directly. If the defense can invalidate the forensic genealogy work, however, they would have grounds to ask the judge to disallow the direct match. The prosecution has opposed giving the defense complete access to the genealogical data, citing privacy concerns for the people identified in it who were not considered suspects. So that's what we have there. Now to see what the judge says. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, next. Lindsay Shiver, socialite, wife, alleged plotter of her husband's death, speaks out after a release from jail for allegedly plotting to kill her husband with her bartender boyfriend. So she had an interview with the New York Post. Let's see what that tells us. She says, and I quote, "It's been really tough. She was checking in with authorities in Nassau, Bahamas. That's a requirement of her $100,000 bail agreement. The Post said she looked fresh, made up, with her first change into fresh clothes in over a week, that she appeared in public for the first time after being released from Nassau's notorious Fox Hill prison after 19 days in. Shiver, 36, is accused of plotting to kill her husband, former Auburn University football standout Robert Shiver, with the help of her bartender boyfriend, Adrian Bethel, 28, and an assassin, allegedly Farron Newbold Jr., 29. Hang on for a minute. This is loading up here. Okay, hang on. We are having a little technical difficulty. Just sit back. Relax for a minute. Okay, here we go. So, she was wearing a white Nike hat. She was wearing a gray hoodie, black yoga pants. She had an ankle monitor tag clearly on display, and she nodded yes when she was asked, hang on, if she feels I'll show you what she looks like here in a moment. Hang on. We are having a little technical delay. It's a good time just to sit and breathe. Okay, almost back to normal. Hang on, I'm going to show you a picture of what she was wearing. Looks scared. Okay, so she nodded yes when asked if she feels that the case against her has been overblown. Yes, she nodded. I really can't say too much right now, she said, noting that she had been advised to remain mum by her attorneys as the case progresses. It's been hard, but I can't speak about it. She carried a manila envelope. She arrived at the precinct in the upscale Cable Beach neighborhood in a rented Kia sedan she'll use to travel locally. Now I'm having issues with my car, she said exasperatedly. I have to deal with that now on top of everything else, but I really can't say anything more. I'm sorry. Thank you for being respectful. With that, she departed and left to go back to the leased condo where she's staying. As part of her bond package, she must remain in residence between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. and check in with local authorities 3 times a week. She also must remain in Nassau while she awaits an October court date, and she's prohibited from contacting her estranged husband or coming within 100 feet of him. Sources say that she will soon be visited in Cable Beach by relatives after her nearly 3-week imprisonment. Bahama prosecutors allege Shiver explicitly instructed Bethel and Newbold to murder her insurance executive spouse in the middle of their increasingly bitter divorce. Police say the plot came to light during an investigation of a break-in at a waterfront bar where Bethel worked and where he also first encountered Shiver. Cops vetted Bethel's phone and found text messages that allegedly referenced the plan to kill Shiver at his wife's behest. An attorney representing the trio scoffed at the seriousness of the plan, telling the New York Post Shiver's alleged accomplices were never close to executing the plan, and the matter has been blown out of proportion. Those young boys were not capable of doing that, he said with a dismissive smile after Shiver's release this week. So she wasn't released when we thought she was. She was just released. Newbold is a structural engineer and the son of a prominent local politician. He has steadfastly declined comment, only telling the New York Post this week that it is not what it seems and that he is innocent of the serious charges against him. The bartender boyfriend said that he would never harm his lover's husband, and his ongoing relationship with Shiver was never a secret. The offending texts, he said, amounted to a little more than a hyperbolic fantasy and amid Shiver's marital combat. The couple chatted extensively while sitting next to each other in court during a Wednesday appearance, with Bethel managing to draw several smiles from his girlfriend as they waited for the hearing to start. As reported exclusively by the Post, Robert Shiver has hired a private investigator to tail his wife around the Bahamas after suspecting that she was cheating on him. But Shiver's divorce lawyers have countered that he was abusive towards his wife during their ill-fated marriage. Prior to their marriage's implosion, the Shrivers split their time between a multi-million-dollar Thomasville, Georgia mansion and a luxury spread in the exclusive enclave Barker's Bay in the Bahamas. Okay. Hang on a moment. Hi, Earth Angel. Okay, hi, Barb Olson. Sorry, honey, but texts don't lie, Barb says. Okay. Let's see. Next. Hang on. There's a lot that's been going on. All right. This is going to be our next story making headlines. Okay, so the husband of an Alaska National Guardsman who vanished on Sunday has been charged with her murder. Zarius Hildebrand was arrested for Saria Hildebrand's murder after the Anchorage police visited the 21-year-old's apartment on Thursday. Family members said Zarius Hildebrand, an Army soldier, was the last person to see his wife, who is in the Alaska Army National Guard. Saria Hildebrand's body was found prior to her husband's arrest. Her husband said she was last heard from on Sunday night near her apartment. Police believe she went to work that morning but left her phone behind, something the family said was out of character. A day before his arrest, Zarius Hildebrand allegedly posted a missing person flyer for his wife on Facebook and said, "Updated information on my missing wife. Please share and repost." Right now it's unclear where Saria Hildebrand's body was found or how she died. Zarius Hildebrand is charged with first-degree and second-degree murder and evidence tampering. Wow, that's another crazy case, isn't it? Zarius Hildebrand. See something here. I'm going to want to see something really quickly. I'm just trying to pull up his public Facebook page, which is right here. Hang on one second. So there's his Facebook page. Works at U.S. Army. This is update information on my missing wife. Please share and repost. There's a bunch of comments on here. Somebody says it is truly giving Chris Watts the fact. Wait, what is that? CC says, CC Cruz. It's truly giving Chris Watts the fact I was there, looked you in the face, dap you up at the search. Probably I should have known the fact you fed us lies. The fact that you'd sat there and used that missing phone BS. Come on now. And telling us, oh, it's normal for her to walk to work. Yeah, was drinking Saturday night. So the truth will come out. All of it. How calm you was Tuesday, bro. LML, you didn't even care. It's not normal for her to walk to work. I know, Ma. That's the lies him and someone else told me. So this is Alexis Sutherland. Why did we just hear about Sutherland? Hildebrand, Sutherland. I feel like we just heard about a Sutherland. How sickening and sad, somebody says. Missy, funny, not funny. How there was absolutely no mention of your Facebook of Saria being missing until you got called out for it. Dude, just tell her family where she is. And he says, I hate to respond to this, but you seem pretty persistent, so A+ for the effort. And if you must know, I didn't have access to my phone or any kind of device for 12+ hours yesterday, and when I finally got it back, I used it for communications back and forth to people to pass along information, obtain information, such as the picture I posted, and all of this was done before I saw your comment, and if I knew where my wife was, any parties involved under this investigation would have known by now. So unless you have something positive to say or any news regarding my wife, I would greatly appreciate if you would comment on my post. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. What? So that's apparently from him. Okay. So that's all he has on his page anyway there. He doesn't even have married to her or anything. All right. So that's sad, but that's developing and we'll keep following that. Okay. Hang on a sec. Okay. Okay. Now let's see. think we've got a couple of other things to go over. That bartender in Florida, I thought I was reading the same story. Remember that other woman that was killed on the train tracks? But this is a different one, and there was 2 women that were killed, and one was a woman in her 50s. And she was on the road. So let's see what happened here. So a very popular Jacksonville bartender was one of 2 women who were shot dead early Wednesday morning near the train tracks in San Marco, Florida. The management of Dos Gatos in downtown Jacksonville said 28-year-old Paige Pringle had dropped off gifts for her manager and other employees and was stopped for the train. Her SUV coasted into the train after the shooting. The second woman's identity was not released. She was 53 years old, and investigators believed she was standing on the curb when she was shot. Pringle, who was shot multiple times, was pronounced dead at the scene. The other woman was taken to a hospital where she died. They're working this case very hard, said the Jacksonville Sheriff, T.K. Waters, trying to determine exactly what happened. It's, everyone's shocked. You don't want to see this happen in your city at all, right? Whether it's any place else, you just don't want to see that happen. Dos Gatos closed for the night on Wednesday, noting on Facebook that we stand here with grieving hearts, shocked and saddened. She was one of the best. She was our family, and we loved her immensely. On Thursday, they reopened, saying, "We're back doing what Paige would want us to do, making everyone happy. Stop by and share your favorite story and enjoy a cocktail. Thank you to everyone who left a message. Flowers by the door. We've moved them inside." Employees were stunned. "Honestly, I don't think you want to know the kind of justice that I want for her, but it really sucks," says her co-worker, Sion Tamasu. "You have a bunch of idiots out here thinking that they are grown adults because they carry guns around and they want to show them off or whatever, and then whatever triggers them or sets them off, they just want to harm people. They want to harm other people. It's stupidity at its finest." Investigators have not identified a suspect as yet. Very sad. Okay, 1 second. Okay. All right, let's see what else now. I think we did Kohberger, we did the train, we did Alexee Trevizo, we did the husband, and then we did all the extra. So far we're doing well. I want to see if there was anything else that I wanted to, because we've gone through a lot tonight. And it is getting late, and I've got a busy day tomorrow, so let's see what we have. I know there's a couple of other things. Let's see. Now, there's something about the Gilgo Beach, Long Island serial killer's wife, who seems to be having some pretty extensive health issues. Asa Ellerup, the estranged wife of Long Island serial killer Rex Heuermann, is facing spreading skin and breast cancer, her lawyer said Friday afternoon at a press conference. A family lawyer for Ellerup, Bob Macedonio, said her insurance is close to expiring since she's on Herman's policy, which will end when he fails to cover the premium. Herman is no longer working after his arrest in July. That's a big fear and stress on her on top of all this other stuff that's going on, her attorney says. Her lawyers, however, said Friday that her home was left in shambles with valuables shattered and their pillows, couches, and other items destroyed. Herman pled not guilty at his arraignment. He remains behind bars at the Suffolk County Correctional Facility without bail. Meanwhile, the daughter of the happy-faced serial killer Melissa Moore created a GoFundMe fundraiser for Ellerup to help with the family's basic needs and to possibly help restore their home. So let's see how that's going for them. Well, they do have $47,167 of a $50,000 goal raised. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, and I think I don't even know where I was. Hang on. Okay, let me go over here. And okay. All right. Hi, Farm Wife. Has anyone heard about the 14-year-old girl found on the military base? No, I didn't read about a 14-year-old girl found on the military base. Let me... Camp Pendleton? Let's see. A Marine charged with essay of a 14-year-old girl found at Camp Pendleton. Wow. She was discovered June 28th on the military base more than 2 weeks after she went missing from her Spring Valley home. Relatives of the unidentified minor said they suspect she had been sold to the Marine to be essayed, and they were concerned officials were trying to cover up the incident. On Friday, Camp Pendleton officials announced that a Marine has been charged by military prosecutors with essay of a minor, but they declined to identify the suspect. Marine officials were not immediately available to say what prison time the Marine faced if convicted. The Marine also faces an unrelated charge of violating liberty restriction, meaning he failed to follow a rule or order about his time off, for example, being limited from leaving an area or returning to base or barracks by a certain time. And August 17th preliminary hearing has been scheduled. A spokesperson for Camp Pendleton said more details regarding the charges could not be released. Officials say the Marine's identity would not be released unless the case was referred to a court-martial after the preliminary hearing. The girl's aunt alleged in a previous interview that her niece was essayed on the base and has criticized how military officials handled the case. She said her family and her were hoping for full accountability and transparency in the case. And I quote her saying, if the defense tries to settle, the family will not accept the Marine's plea deal unless he takes a maximum sentence, is dishonorably discharged, and registers as a sex offender, she said. We want, let's see what she said here. Yeah. She doesn't even know the Marine's name, she said. Wow. Crazy. Crazy. Okay. Okay. So, how come what happened? How did that happen? Didn't I get, like, incredibly closer to you guys? It's really strange. But I have to start the new Zoom anyway. And other meeting. Participants. Invite. Copy invitation. It's time to do our word game because Carolyn's got to go to sleep. I have another busy day. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's taking forever. There we go. Let's open the word game. Word game. First.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi. Oh.
Word game time?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-oh. Margot, I gotta get Margot in. Okay.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey.
Hi, Margot.
Hi.
Hello.
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 Oh. I can't make you guys anything because she's hogging the host. She can hear us, right? Oh, now we're talking.
Okay.
Kevin Leonard said there's an echo.
There is?
I don't hear it.
I don't hear one.
I don't hear it either.
Better not be me again.
I'll mute. We'll just mute.
There's no echo.
Let me see.
Oops. 15.
How did that?
I can't see the word. I can't see the word puzzle anymore.
No. Put it back.
It's coming back.
Oh.
Bake Off.
There we go.
Now you're talking.
Do I want to play the Bake Off? 3 levels in 90 seconds. That gives me 3.
Kevin said all guests have echo.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Let me mute. Let's see who
I'm
it is.
gonna disconnect audio.
Okay, I'm gonna mute.
How is it now, Kevin?
Is it me, Kevin? Kevin, do I have an echo? He's not answering me. Oh, Ella's echoing. Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back in. I'm gonna go out and come back in, Carolyn.
All right.
Okay, I'm back. Oh, I am still echoing, Sharon? Oh, L-O video.
Video's here.
Yes!
Oh, hi,
He's
Video.
safe.
Hi, Video.
Still echoing.
There's a bad word here with a B. Is that ever a word in this game?
No.
Okay.
Let's see if Margot's echoing.
Who's echoing now?
Who's echoing now?
Yep, we're all echoing. Everyone but Carolyn.
Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Try the B word. Nope. Nope. Make it Margot. Oh, that murder of crows. How did I not see that? Oh my gosh. There's no R. Liza. Oh, bewitch. That's probably it, Beth. It is bewitch. Yay! 7 cookies today. I just heard like a little baby.
So I went, yeah,
That was you?
that was me.
Okay. um, dispensing. Oh, I always miss that one rain. I would never take that. Okay. What the heck, Al? You okay, Al? Oh, vermin. Yes, very good. Who said that?
Vermin.
Kevin. Are you cheating, Kevin? No, I don't. Cheat too much work. Okay, well, that's good. Ribbon? Ribbon. Oh, wow. Ribbon. That's crazy. Hi, Jeanette.
Okay, I can't type it in the chat because there's a cat laying on my arm. I think it's rye.
Yeah. I don't know. Hi, Flo. Oh, special level.
Oh, that was a good word, and the dog ate it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Sharon. I tried Nuke. Hey. I did take tack. Okay. Oh, get out of here. Okay. Camo. Oh. Mock. Yeah, mocking. Got hawk. Hammock. Yep, hammock. That's Deborah. Mocha, I tried mocha, it didn't work. Comma. Coma. I tried Mac, it didn't work. Life hack like Luke used to do. Oh, macho. Macho, yeah, right. Murder of crows, yeah. Village people, macho man. bronze, yeah. Who said that? Liza. Very good, Liza. Um, Yay. I did tread. I know I did tread. I tried to do tread. Yeah, I can't do it. Buy, feed, edit. Okay. I read. By feed. Okay. All right. And diver, didn't I do diver? Yay, thank you, Myrtle Cruz. Thank you, Myrtle. Done. That was so easy. Oh, special level. That was super easy. Cello. Okay. Until. All right. I think we're gonna call that a night. It's 3:29. We'll do it till 3:33, and then we'll go wherever we are. I tried that. Hmm. Three, 333? No, it's 332 on my computer. It's 332. Pop, I needed one more. Oh my gosh. Still 332 on my computer. Huh. Okay, now it's still 332 on my computer.
Oh my.
I tried Co and Cop. They don't work. Oh, I got it. We got it. It's 333. It's a miracle.
The word
Alright.
or, I think, Carolyn, O-R-E.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Oh, you
Okay.
did, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Good night. God bless. Prayers for all. We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody take care.
night.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Good night,
Bye.
Good
everybody.
night. God bless. See you later. And okay. And.